All right, so here we are. And for this live stream, I really wanted to go into this video I found, which I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it because it might be copyrighted. I think it's an NBC video. But I did do a Saturday Night Live skit, and they let that go through the live stream and then just blocked it after the live stream. So we'll see. We'll see if the video works out. But I wanted to go over quiet quitting and kind of analyze the reality on both sides. I'm eating rice cakes. I love rice cakes. But I wanted to go over the realities of quiet quitting, right? What's up, Jay? What's up, CGI? CGI Life. I really wanted to go over the realities of quiet quitting and at least, just talk about like my perspective on the realities of the people who they talk to in this video, right? Because I think with quiet quitting, first I like to say that this is probably part of this ramble about the topic is going to be more kind of like a haha I told you so to like the friends I had when I was like, when I was like 20, 21, 22. Because I was the only one talking like this back then. But I was talking along the lines of quiet quitting from a realistic, grounded standpoint, right? My realistic, grounded standpoint was I wasn't worth shit, right? In the workforce. Speaking in the workforce, as a 20-year-old dude with no education, no skills, nothing like that, I wasn't worth shit. So I wasn't necessarily mad about the situation, but I just kind of knew what it was, right? And I knew it was fucked up, but I wasn't almost like I wasn't like the quiet quitting phase. Now is almost like this envious thing of people who aren't working for people or people who are getting appreciated in life. And it's really a weird topic, and I really want to talk about the whole scheme. And I'm going to go over. I got it open right here. Hang on. I'm going to go over it. Let me switch it right now. Let me see. Because I think this is it. And again, it may not play because this is. I think this is an NBC channel. So if it doesn't play or if it pauses, then I'll just stop it. And they might freeze the channel for like 15, 20 seconds, and I'll just come back and just talk about my summary of it. But yeah, like for example, this part right here, I call this that COVID-19 was a thing that forced people to sit down at home and just think, right? And that seemed to catch a lot of people up to where I was saying back in 2006, right? But the world kind of had to sit down and just think. So, again, I'm the guy like that's always going to tell you, no life has everything. Every life path you pick, any benefit you pick in life is going to have a consequence, all right? Whether you just chose to acknowledge it or not at the time is up to you. But no matter, I'm not here to try to sell you this perfect dream. I'm more of a philosopher in this sense, of a decent philosopher. My job is not to sit here and just sell you heaven, right? If somebody's trying to sell you heaven and they look for somebody to buy it, my purpose, what I like to do in life is to show the reality of both sides, right? So I'm not one for particularly, choosing to work like, 40 hours a week, even though I wanted it when I was younger. And now that I'm older, I think I've just been so separated from it. It would be a very hard transition, but it can still happen. I could still end up going out to work 40 hours a week. Who knows what's going to happen in the future, right? My thing is just understand reality and your place in life, while at the same time not letting it completely like destroy you and take you down. Because here's another thing about society. I've really noticed this too. It's this extreme. Like well, if I don't have this, then I'm this, and if I don't have this, then I'm this. Meaning, like almost like if I don't have what society sees as correct, then I'm this immediate loser. If I don't have, like, it's that pressure to kind of fit in, right? And it shifts. The majority of population will throw themselves into these other extremes, instead of just going like, oh, I just don't have this. Okay, and then move on. like people tend to like if I don't have a car, and it's like, oh, I don't have a car, I'm a loser, right? It's like this immediate shift, you know, to just completely opposite negative area. And my thing is to acknowledge when you are maybe like below average, or like I said with the Bengals, with the Cincinnati Bengals, we were fucking horrible. I'm horrible at Mega Man, but I don't let that shit like tear down my fucking psyche, you know, tear down my whole state of being. You know what I mean? Like, I don't let that shit just completely tear me down to where like I'm in a bad mood and shit after it. You know what I mean? Like but yeah, or how much money earn or whatever the fuck. Like, this is a rough topic, and I know I'm probably gonna hurt somebody's feelings talking about this, but I really wanted to touch on the pretentiousness and where I think America is inevitably headed after this phase, because it sounds like people are starting to keep this going. The quiet quitting shit. But I think first I'll start with this. The deeper reality is that most people, and here's my and I really stand by this. This is gonna sound like almost some Hitler shit. But most people really don't know what to do with freedom. Okay? Most people don't really know what to do with what they think they want, right? Majority of people are not even smart enough to be stupid, right? Most people do not need freedom. Most people need, like they don't even realize it, but that need to get up and have to go to work is what saves them from themselves, right? That's number one where I start off. Most people do not deserve freedom, right? It's just like I look at, you know, for example, look at what happens to the typical lottery winner when they all of a sudden win millions of dollars. They're all broke within 10 years and more fucked up than they were when they started, right? Most people do not deserve freedom. What's up, Nada Yada? Billy Eiser, what's up, man? Quiet quitting is a stupid name, but I don't get why anyone can't do it. Well, yeah. Like, on one hand, I do see where they're coming from. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, like I said, because I would be totally for it, but I only watched the first maybe like 4 or 5 minutes of it. I watched it this morning, and before I had to turn it off because it was getting on my nerves, because they were too pretentious about themselves. Okay, like on one hand, like I get where they're coming from, but the other end, this feeling of entitlement of being of value in the workforce just because they just them is a whole nother extreme to where I'm like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, dude. You need to get up and go to work. You know what I mean? Like a motherfucker like that. All right. Because when I was in college, I told you, when I started college, I was living in a homeless shelter. I was living in St. Vincent de Paul homeless shelter, and I was sleeping in my car, right? I had no money. And I knew, I was fully aware of what I was in the real world. I was applying for every job I can get. And I was that 2% of people who just could not find a job anywhere. So I had to figure out on my own how to make shit work. And of course, you're going to get like some help here and there, some handouts, somebody going to throw you a bone here or there, to help you out along your journey. But I was under no illusion that I deserved anything. All right. And I think at the core, that's where this modern feminism is trying to spread this equality and all this shit like that. And the younger guys are growing up believing this shit, and they're going out here thinking that they just deserve the world and adopt that woman mentality. I deserve something just because I'm here, shit. And it's fucking with them, dude. Like the black dude where I left off at, that's why I had to turn it off when he was talking, because he's just too entitled. You know what I mean? And that ain't nothing but some old feminine, I deserve something just because I'm standing here shit. That's bitches do that. Men don't get away with that. What's up, Charlie Guns? What's up, Tiger? Let me see Tiger first. Also, agreed. Also, health. They are healthy, still don't know what to do. Well, yeah. Dry PP syndrome. I don't know what that is. What's up, AD? YouTube is not alerting me when you go live for some reason. I hate this soft YouTube. Oh, word? Yeah, that's great. Well, hey, I can't blame them. I'm using every curse word in the book and talking about shit. So I don't blame them. Like now, see how I'm grounded with my own YouTube channel. Like, I'm not mad at YouTube for blocking any videos or anything, because I understand like where I stand is I'm using YouTube's platform. I'm mad at Streamlabs, but I'm not like angry at Streamlabs, because I'm still choosing to go out there and use YouTube and use Streamlabs shit to communicate to the world, right? I still recognize my place in it. Like, I'm still using their shit, right? Now, with these quiet quitters in this video, they're talking about they need to know my worth. And I'm like, yo, like, you ain't got no worth in this game. You in the context of getting up and going to go work. Like, if you knew your worth, then don't go begging somebody for a job if you know your worth. All right? Go make your own shit in whatever department that you complain about. If you want to get serious angry about it, right? Go out there and fucking, and make your own fucking way. But we'll see. We'll see if this plays. Keep doing the articles from Wednesdays. Yeah. I'll because I highly doubt this is gonna let me even play it all the way through. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna cover it. It's only 7:30, so yeah, I'll definitely get to at least one video at minimum. Modern dating cure. What's up, MG Verde? It's just apathy, and I can't believe people are surprised by men getting to this point. What did you expect? It's been going on before I was born. Yeah. The world doesn't owe you anything. It was here for exactly. Jerry Carney. That's exactly my grounded reality in it, dude. Like that's the grounded now. But in that grounded reality, I'm not saying to go to the other extreme and just because see what people will do is they'll go to the other extreme and go, oh, I'm totally worthless. Like okay, okay, it's okay to be worthless sometimes, right? Like it's okay, just don't dwell on that shit. Like it's okay to be fucked up. It's okay to make a fucked up decision. See, it's these severe shifts in typical people in the world that they can't handle just being there, right? Just being there and just existing for most people is scary because now you got to sit down and think, and most people don't want to think, right? They want somebody else to think for them and have that person who's thinking for them trick them into having them think that they're actually thinking for themselves. Like we're going to get on these people in this video with this quiet quitting shit. Like it's okay to be fucked up. It's okay to be broke. It's okay. I don't know how to put it in the better words, but society has this way of just like going. If I don't have this, then I'm a loser or I'm this or that. Now I feel like okay. Now when I say on my channel, I might go into these topics. Yeah, I'll say like the world will possibly see you like that because the world operates like that. But as you as an individual, don't shift to that immediate extreme. Like just accept, just learn how to accept and be. Now it's going to suck sometimes. I get that, but don't dwell on that shit, And that's the part that just hurts me so much in seeing other humans just talk themselves into believing this shit about themselves. It just like that shit. It just drains my personal energy and my energies. It just drains my, my mental health, like just listening to people fight through these trials and tribulations that's inside their own head. you know, and trying to live up to other people and all this shit. They just struggling with that shit. Like, they're seriously struggling with it, right? So yeah, let's start this video. hopefully it's gonna work. I'm gonna keep an eye. Let me try to keep an eye on here to make sure it's gonna, because I think this is an NBC like side YouTube channel. I just stumbled on the shit this morning. Like I said, the Saturday Night Live skit I did a long time ago worked, and it went perfectly fine. But you never know with YouTube, dude. So here we go. We're gonna start it.
Caused a lot of people to reevaluate their relationship to work.
My life's work isn't selling software.
Can you all stay an additional 10 minutes? I really want to go over something in regards to next week's meeting.
Do you know what this company needs to burn down? What?
And as it turns out, a lot of folks are fed up with the way things have been going.
Say you're a low-wage worker in Gen Z, right? Your first experience of the workplace is realizing that your boss doesn't really care if you get sick, as long as the burgers get flipped. And it's no wonder that you're seeing a lot of, you know, Gen Zers making videos about quiet quitting.
My mom's Gen.
Motherfucker, don't nobody have to care about you when you go to work. They don't have to care about you. Where's this idea of somebody got to care about you coming in and all this shit? See, that's what I said. See, this is what happens when you let women run a society and raise a generation of babies. Everybody got to care about you. I don't care about you. Okay? Don't nobody got this. Is not a caring transaction. Go out there and try to sell some weed. Like, yo, bro, I care about you. I mean, no, this ain't no caring transaction. I tell you what, since somebody has to care about you, why don't Ukraine just go up to Putin and be like, you know what? I wanted to fight in war, but I don't think you really cared about me, so I don't think it's gonna work out. Get the fuck out of, grow up. Are you fucking serious right now? Dude, grow the fuck up. Nobody has to care about you. Get that shit out of your fucking head that somewhere in here somebody ever had to care about you. Like was Chris Tucker said, the girl don't like you. I don't like you. You came here for nothing. Do what you're supposed to do and leave. Nobody has to care about you. Where is this? They got to care. There ain't none of that. Ain't caring is nowhere in that work contract. All right. You motherfuckers walking up here and you know what I'm saying, this entitlement shit. It started off 34 seconds on some old dingbat shit.
Boss doesn't really care if you get sick.
No.
As long as the burgers get flipped. And it's no wonder that you're seeing a lot of, you know, Gen Zers making videos about quiet quitting.
My mom's Gen X, my dad's a boomer. When I came to them, like in the pit of like my burnout, when I was really just distraught and really depressed, I came to them and I was like, is this just the way that it's going to be the rest of my life? Or just like, yeah, that's the way it goes. That was the moment where I was just like, and you all just live like this?
Yeah, because you know what? See, yes, because you have the order confused. Especially as a woman, women are never living in reality. But it's like the order is confused. You see, you're living life. Okay, again, I don't have an issue with quiet quitting if it was for a legit reason, right? But you know, because I'm not for the whole 40-hour work week. I'll quickly advocate, you know, extinction of the 40-hour work week. I will quickly advocate. I think that's horrible. I've always thought it was horrible. I used to try to fit in when I was like 20 because I wanted to fit in with society, but I've never been a fan of that, right? I was against it when people would kick me out the friends group for even talking like that, right? But this entitlement shit of well, I was a little depressed and I went to work, and you guys lived like you guys were depressed and went to work. Okay, like I said, okay. This part of the population is living in la la land in the mentality that McDonald's just had. It just grew from the ground. You know what I mean? Walmart, Tesco, Myers, you know, all these Lidl, all these stores just grew from the ground, and they just supposed to be there. Ain't nobody had to run this shit. Like it's just gonna be there, and no matter regardless. It's that entitlement to just life. Off the start, like you are not guaranteed. Nobody has a like you or guarantee you anything, right? This order is and the black dude coming up next. Oh, that shit's ridiculous, right? But these people, the order is totally. This is the consequence of growing up within a country that has allowed women to do majority of the raising of children. This is what happens. Entitlement, pathetic, absurd entitlement, right? Telling some I was depressed. Like I said, okay, you so depressed. Okay, I'll tell you what. When a country comes to invade America, and then you see what fucked up shit really is, I'll tell you what you do. You go talk to that country's leader and say, you know what? I'm depressed. Can we postpone this war until 6 months from now? And what's the leader gonna go? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, we didn't know you was depressed. Oh, we take mental health very No, this is reality, bro. Don't nobody give a fuck about your mental health like that. When reality hits, you gotta do something. Like I said, go tell Ukraine to send Putin an email saying they depressed. And watch the response is going to come back. See, when that reality hits. What's up, Jen?
Yeah, that's the way it goes. That was the moment where I was just like, and you all just live like this?
Gen Z has taken a look at the working world and decided the status quo is unacceptable. Surveys have found that Gen Zers are less likely than prior generations of workers to go along with long hours, overbearing bosses, or a lack of boundaries between the personal and the professional. The Center for American...
Now, I agree with that. Everything he just said, I can agree. It directly speaking what he just said, I can agree with that, yeah.
Labeled Gen Z America's most pro-union generation. All of this adds up to a real wave of worker dissatisfaction bubbling up from Gen Z. And there's a lot of content being posted about it, which seems to really resonate, even across generational lines.
I want to add to that discourse, trying to liberate us from a life of servitude to companies.
Catherine Berry, who goes by the handle Catharout, posted one of the most popular YouTube videos on this in 2021. In her vlog, she explains why she no longer aspires to have a career.
Your employer does not care about you holistically. They care about your labor.
That's it, yeah, and that was the deal. Dingbat, that was the fucking deal. I know as a woman, you expect somebody to kind of want to fuck you and give you extra chips in life, but that was, yeah, see, you got hit by reality. Ain't nobody going after your pussy. This is are you going to complete the deal and leave, or you even want this job to start out with? It's not. Look, it is your boss. It is not your job. It is not your boss's job to like you. All right, you got to get the fuck. Anybody who ever may watch this video, remember, it is not your boss's job to like you. Where the fuck is this? They got the like you coming in at. I tell you, it's that fucking entitlement. That's where it's coming in. Nobody had to like you, bitch. Who the fuck said they got to like you? Grown ass woman. Who the fuck said somebody had to like you to hire? No. Fucking idiot shit. You fucking kid. Nobody got to like you for nothing. They don't have to care about you. Okay, I'll tell you what. Go back and look at that contract you signed and tell me one time you see the word care anywhere in there other than carelessness. Tell me anywhere you see the words care for you at. Anywhere in there. That was not in the contract, bruh. At all.
Employer does not care about you holistically. They care about your labor.
Yes, and that's the whole reason you there, just like the whole reason you there is to get paid. See, people like her. See, people. Let me tell you something. See, people like her have never been in a true position of leadership, right? And I would bet most of these people who's going to be speaking in here have never truly been in a position of leadership that have to legitimately manage people. Okay, your boss, I hate to break it to you, sweet cheeks, but your boss doesn't have time to even think about caring about you because he's managing at least 20, 30 other people. All right? He don't even remember your first name. Accept it. That's reality. All right, I know you think somebody wants to fuck you because you got your little 10 pounds of makeup on and all that shit. Look, that boss don't remember your first fucking name. Accept it. It's fucking reality. That by the time the boss has, by the time any type of boss is coming up in there, they are juggling 15 more you. You are nothing fucking special. It is not, you are not entitled to be liked or cared for. Your job is to go in there and do a fucking job and walk the fuck out of there. That's your fucking position. You fucking kidding me right now?
Does not care about you holistically. They care about your labor.
I am 26. I grew up in the Bay Area and went to college for business, after which I ended up working in tech sales in the Bay Area for about 5 years. I just have always been an overachiever. How do I outperform everyone and like win this game, basically? So when that's just sort of the culture that surrounds you, it's really natural to adopt that and just internalize those values and think, okay, the best thing you can do with your life is to just achieve, perform until someday it all just came crashing down.
Yeah, see, now, yeah, and the reality, see, and this is what I'm talking about. See, some people really need to be slaves. Some people really need to be slaves, honestly. Like, and that's a fucked up thing to say, but a lot of people have a strong urge to just be enslaved and don't even realize it. See, like, she has no awareness that she is a slave and she yearns to be a slave, right? She has no awareness of it. Because okay, perfect example. There is an episode of The Office, right? And I know The Office has been turned into this whole like stereotype of like, you know, white bitches love it. But like, no joke, I was watching The Office when it originally came out because I was a big fan of Will Ferrell, and Steve Carell was an anchorman, which that was like the first big Will Ferrell type of comedy to really kind of blow up at the time. Well, it kind of slowly blew up because Elf and all that shit came out. But anyway, The Office, right? To make my point of some people are so deeply entwined to want to be a slave that they don't even realize it themselves. There's a character on The Office named Dwight Schrute, right? And Dwight Schrute is just a complete suck up to the boss. He does everything. He loves the boss. He legit loves, and the boss hates him, right? But he keeps him there because he's a good worker. So Dwight's coworker says like something along the lines of, if you, in your wildest dreams, what would you choose to do with your life? Like, what would you do? Let's say if you went to heaven or hell and you got to live like the perfect life that you can live. What would you do with your life? And he said, I would be the assistant director manager and I'd make $80,000 a year. Like, motherfucker, you could own your own business, bro. You could do your own thing. You could do anything else in life. But your whole goal in life is to look good for somebody else. And see, this is the shit that, you know what I'm saying? It's these little areas where people are so in love with being a slave and being in control. But but you can't tell her. See, she thinks that she's in control of what she's doing. But what's happening in reality, she's in love with getting validation from a boss who's in control of her fucking life. That's what she's in love with, right? Now, and it's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But I think a lot of people are in this delusion that's not the reality. Beats Bears Battlestar Galactica. Yeah. I couldn't get into the British version. I tried. I really tried. I didn't try. I'm lying. I didn't try a lot because I really loved Steve Carell's Michael Scott at the time. I really loved Michael Scott. The show went to shit after he left.
It's so much value in this thing that ultimately, not my ruin, but really, really damaged me and my health and my well-being. Attaching your worth and your value and your belonging and well-being to a job is not going to be your salvation. But
that is your salvation.
We need to find other paths out of here and find ways to rebalance our lifestyles and ultimately, liberate ourselves from what can be ultimately really soul crushing.
Now, this is the dude where I turned it off. I just turned it because I was like, get this motherfucker off my phone, and just threw the phone. This whole entitled
Creator, DeAndre Brown, is known for his persona, corporate baddie.
DeAndre, we were wondering if you could just stay past on 5 today.
What that means really is just that you know your worth and you know that you are the prize and that you are in corporate America and you're doing a job, but you're always putting yourself before you're putting the job.
Now let's listen to that again one more time.
What that means really is just that you know your worth and you know that you are the prize.
See, this is feminine shit, right? You know your worth and you know you're the prize, right? So let's really analyze you know your worth and you know you're the prize. So your worth is so high and so valuable that you have to go to work and pretend to be nice and charismatic, and you have to sit somewhere for 8 to 10 hours a day, hold your piss and shit in, be told when you're a good boy to go pick up a sandwich to go eat. Yeah, you know your worth. Really think about that shit. You see, really think. See, it's this inflation of ego. And see, these are the motherfuckers that really don't deserve freedom. These motherfuckers need to be slaves, right? They need to go. See, their whole life and sanity is wrapped around getting validation from others, right? They need that. They need to go and fit in with society. They need See, this is the modern day desire of a slave, right? And he don't even see it. Talking about you got to know your worth. Know your worth. If you were so valuable, then quit that job and just go exist and be of worth. You can't do that. Why? Because you're not of worth. Well, you of worth as a slave, but you're not of worth completely independently in life. You see, really think about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Anybody can become a slave. There's nothing wrong with becoming a slave, right? But it's this it's just like with fat bitches, with hookers, whatever the fuck. I don't have a problem with fat bitches and hookers. My problem is once they start getting this overinflated ego and sense of entitlement, that's when I have a problem with them, right? That's when I have a problem with them. Or if they go the whole opposite direction and get on this whole wallowing shit, right? Like self-wallowing and not trying to get up again. Like those are the two areas that I have issues with. If a motherfucker is just like, yo, I'm working a job, like I'm chilling. Okay, cool. I mean, I have no issue. I'm sure you probably do something else better, but but this sense of overinflated ego shit is just confusion. That's all it is. It's just confusion. What's up, Oliver Biscuit?
And that you are in corporate America and you're doing a job, but you're always putting yourself before you're putting the job.
DeAndre told me that when he was in college, he earned a high-profile internship at an investment bank that turned into a full-time offer when he graduated. But during the pandemic, he was bored and lonely in a new city at that new job, which is why he started posting on TikTok.
What is it that Gen Z really wants from the workforce? And how is Gen Z making changes and changing the workforce?
The team has been discussing internally, and we want you to come back in the office effectively. Well, I quit.
Yeah, and see shit like this. This is child shit, right? This is child shit. Because, okay, to explain my point, this is child shit. See, this is how you know people have never truly been in any position of leadership in their life, and they probably never will. Is because they do shit like this, right? How much you want to bet if he ends up if he ends up going off and employing people, give it 1 to 2 years, and he's gonna be worse than whatever boss he's working for to his people. I will guarantee you. I will guarantee within 1 to 2 years of juggling employees, juggling a department, juggling I'm forgetting the word, juggling his own life under his own laws and rules type of shit. I would love to see him go out there and be. I would love any person in this video talking shit to go out there and be their own boss. The workforce don't owe you shit, bruh. Accept it. But you won't be able to mature to that level until you go out there and make something of truly of yourself, right? Truly of yourself in the real. Then you'll fully get it. It's like, wow, these motherfuckers are annoying. Like, you think your boss want to be there? Your boss is more likely your boss is there before you got there and is there after you there, or is doing something off on the side on his own. All right, and you like, again, just like with the white bitch earlier, your boss is juggling 15 to 20 more of you, right? Right, at the same time, while keeping up with their own job on top of that, and either paying attention to their boss or keeping track of the mortgage or where he done bought the place out or whatever the fucking all, and then and your boss probably got 3 kids and a wife at home. You see what I'm saying? So by the time he's juggling all this shit, you come to almost on, well, I know my worth. You know, you don't get the fuck out of there. Just leave. If you know your worth, then bounce, because you worthy, because you know your worth. Leave. Ta-ta. Why you run up in there begging them for a fucking job? Why you sending out 55 resumes in different countries? If you know your worth, you're a good fucking slave who think you're a good fucking I'll say Uncle Ben. You're a good Uncle Ruckus. Not Uncle, what's the Uncle Tom? You're a good fucking Uncle Tom who think you have like this generation of quiet quitting is living in a delusional la-la land, right? Now, I'm not against quiet quitting for legitimate reasons, right? But this entitlement shit is just off the charts. You are not worth this dude and the white girl. I ain't made it because he was so ridiculous. I couldn't get past him. You're not worth it. Because if you were, you would go out there and make your own life. But you don't, because you can't. So you rather go up and you so instead of going out and making your own life and developing your own life, you rather sit around and beg somebody else for a job and critique their supervising potential while you have zero supervisor potential because you're the slave. You see what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but side note, this is what I say about countries when they talk about North America. This is a siren. It's the same thing. See, these countries, they love to talk shit about North America, how we steal oil and all this shit, right? Because those other countries, they don't steal oil at all. They don't do any crimes. But what do? They sit around and beg North America for all the money that we stole, as if it makes them better. You see what I'm saying? So which one is worse? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I thought about that similar dynamic on an international level, right? Motherfuckers love to make fun of North America or Britain or whatever the fuck until they need some money, and they sitting around begging for money, begging for all the rape dollars and slave dollars they done stole. They go up and beg for it later as if it makes them, better. But yeah, Jigga Jank said running a company is 24/7. Oh yeah. MG Verde says, how can they be their own boss when they still have to go figure out their own identity as a person? They're not going to get to this point because they don't know who they. Yeah, they're not going. They don't even know who they are. I agree with you. There's so much missing in their development, like just so much missing. To one just walk up and say, "Hey, I know my worth. I deserve more." Just because I'm me. Don't own shit, don't run shit. That is the most feminine bitch shit on earth. Like I said a while back. That's what bitches do. Bitches don't build shit, they don't make shit. What do? They sit around and wait for men to do all the building and hard work and dying and getting dirty and dying from illnesses to go build these skyscrapers. And what do women do? They sit back and wait. And then after the skyscraper's built, now they want to walk up in there and be the CEO of the whole building. That's bitch shit, dude. But what do you expect from a generation that was raised by bitches? You gonna get more bitches.
I wanted to stay working within like those 9 to 5 hours for the most part. I really was prioritizing my mental health, that I was always good first, that I wasn't burning myself out. Honestly, I think that a lot of corporate culture is just very flawed. It just
no, you know what it is? Okay, I agree. Because I ain't made it this far. All this is new information to me, new intel. But okay, corporate is flawed, but it's not flawed for the reasons you don't think it's flawed. For him to the homie saying, because I ain't even got to hear him talk. It's flawed, but it's not flawed for the reason that you think it's flawed. It's flawed in the sense of the mentality of people who's looking to go work in a corporation, right? Because everybody who's getting a job to go up in there and work in a corporation, they all think they either gonna fuck their way to the top or they're gonna hold the door open for the right person and nice their way to the top. Right? And they all the pores are gonna fight amongst each other. If they get lucky, they get to move upstairs to the big house. Like Uncle Tom. It ain't nothing but a building full of Uncle Toms. So it's flawed, but not flawed for the reasons that you know that. Okay, because his definition of flawed is going to be, I'm supposed to get a promotion and blah, 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 I'm supposed to get this, I'm supposed to get that, and yeah. That's why he going to say it's flawed, but that's not why it's flawed. It's flawed because it's full of Uncle Toms, and they all think they either going to suck the right dick to get to the top, or they all think they're going to hold the door open for the right person on the right day and become friends with people and get to the top. That's why it's flawed and fucked up.
Has a lot to do with not listening. Like, I'm trying to express myself and I'm trying to tell you all something or tell corporations something that they can learn from and that they can grow from to create a healthier and more conducive work environment. But companies aren't there yet. As a person of color, and speaking for me too specifically, we deal with this imposter syndrome where we don't feel like we belong here. And then also in these corporate spaces, they don't help us to feel like we belong. We've realized through recessions and other things that companies find you replaceable. You can be dropped at the drop of a dime.
By the end of today, half of Twitter's...
Okay. Okay. A company doesn't have to make you feel comfortable. See, that's that feminine bullshit. That's that fucking feminine. That's that feminine bullshit. They don't have to make you feel comfortable. Go open that contract and go find me anywhere in there where you got. See, this is what I'm saying. Motherfuckers got the order completely backwards in life, and it's really astounding just how dumb motherfuckers are. Like just in everyday life, like it's astounding how backwards motherfuckers just have the understanding of life. Like, okay, go open up that contract. There is nowhere in that contract where they say they got to make you feel comfortable. All right. And like, okay, so real quick about how motherfuckers get the order backwards. Basic thing, like I talked about maybe 3 weeks ago or about a month ago now. The reason why you even have running water and a toilet wherever you live right now is not because the government likes you and wants you to feel comfortable. Right? The only reason you have a fucking running water and a toilet is to make sure those slaves don't get sick from contamination. So they built that shit. They put sanitation into every fucking household in the U.S. to keep them slaves up and running at optimum capacity. Not because they like you. You don't got a fucking toilet in your fucking flat because somebody likes you. Somebody wants you to feel comfortable. Nobody give a fuck about you feel comfortable. It's the fucking law. And you want to know why it's the law? It's because you're supposed to be a good slave, not get sick, not spread cholera, and get your motherfucking ass back up and get back in there and pump some more papers out. That's fucking it, dude. Motherfuckers got the order. It's so shocking how people have the order completely backwards and fucked up. And just waking up and just existing in life. Like, it's really shocking. Like, wow, like, motherfuckers are really dumb as hell. Like, you really dumb as fuck. What's this?
You can be dropped at the drop of a dime.
By the end of today, half of Twitter staffers could be out of a job.
Snap's doing some of the deepest cuts we've seen. They're laying off approximately 20% of their global workforce.
11,000 workers they laid off.
Even these quote unquote good jobs are only as good as the boss that you have.
Sarah Jaffe is a labor reporter and author of the book Work Won't Love You Back, which outlines how our relationships towards our careers and our jobs have changed over the last 50 plus years.
You didn't have to smile at the Ford when it went past you on the Ford assembly line, right? You just had to show up and you had to do the thing. As long as you did it, they didn't care. You didn't have to love it. And nobody really expected you to love it. But there are a few things about particular industries where the sort of...
And real quick, I would love if she indirectly defines this time period of change around the 60s and 70s. I would love if she indirectly, because that was the introduction of women en masse going to work. I would love if she accidentally just alludes to that, of that now you got to smile when you at work because bitches started going to work and bitches got to feel happy. I would love if she indirectly exposes that.
Labor of love pressure is really intense, that I think we're seeing it collapse. We are seeing a real pushback on this idea that we love our jobs and we're grateful for our jobs and we're really happy to go to work every day. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get better jobs, right? We could just get worse jobs and be sort of forced to accept our own misery. These are real questions that depend on power and who wins.
Put a pin in that, because we'll get back to Sarah and what she sees as larger solutions in a bit. But one of the things you see in a lot of the anti-careerism content out there is that it focuses on white-collar workers who might be dealing with these feelings for the first time. But historically, they've had a lot more perks compared to blue-collar workers.
My name is Michael. I live in Lexington, North Carolina.
Michael runs a hilarious TikTok and YouTube account under the moniker Felonious Falafel.
What is it going to take to motivate you guys? Steve, let me answer your question with a question. When someone tries to rob you, what are they looking to get from you? Money. I worked from the time I was probably 23 till the time I was 28. 6 to 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. Like, I just slogged through 5 years of my life. Lost it all. Like, lost time with my kids and all this stuff. Production is number one when you're working in a factory, when you're working in a warehouse. People and their problems are pretty much irrelevant. Like I said, anytime you have something personal going on in your life, the company will track that with a point system, which is about as inhumane of a way of dealing with people that I can even imagine. It is ridiculous. You have companies making record-breaking profits, but when it comes to paying people or giving people raises, it's the same 25-cent cost of living raise that they've always gave out. And I believe a lot of people's had enough of the system we've pretty much been in for ever.
I just got off the phone with corporate and they are very excited on how much you guys have increased production. So they have decided to reward each and every one of you. They have heard your pleas for a raise and decided to ignore it, okay? But they did give me $32 to get y'all some Little Caesars pizza.
So it looks like there's a ton of people out there unhappy, burnt out, and rethinking their relationship to work. So what are they doing?
So with the dude, he's the only one who this dude was the only one who sound decent about it.
I believe a lot of people.
Let me do that. He was the only one who was decent about it. Just everything he said about it was deep. Because I worked in factories, I know. Like, they don't give a fuck. Yeah, but it wasn't a thing like I'm mad about it or I know my worth and all that shit. Like because when you work in a factory, you just already know certain things, right? It's just there. And I'm willing to bet the other two probably never worked in a factory before. But yeah, he was decent. I liked him. And I would say he's one who probably genuinely deserves freedom. Out of the woman and the black dude, so far he's the only one in my opinion. He's the only one in my opinion who truly deserves freedom. Because he seemed to have a proper understanding about it, like a legit proper understanding about it, right? Again, out of the black dude and the white girl, well, I think it was two white girls. Pretty much anybody who spoke up to his point, he's the only one, in my honest opinion, who I think genuinely deserves his freedom in life.
People's had enough of the system we've pretty much been in for ever.
I just got off the phone with corporate, and they are very excited on how much you guys have increased production. So they have decided to reward each and every one of you. They have heard your pleas for a raise and decided to ignore it, okay? But they did give me $32 to get y'all some Little Caesars pizza.
So,
and for those of y'all who worked in factories, you know how real that shit is. That's real shit. Everything he said was real shit. Except that they have chosen to ignore it. They wouldn't just say that. But the overall message was, yeah, they brought you some Little Caesars pizza and expect you to go back out there on that scorching hot floor welding fucking struts again. I've been there. Before I started college, I've been there.
looks like there's a ton of people out there unhappy, burnt out, and rethinking their relationship to work. So what are they doing about it? The first line of defense seems to be the hot new phrase, quiet quitting. But how bosses talk about that and how workers talk about it are very different.
You're just not doing above and beyond without additional pay. So it's really sticking to your job description.
If you're a quiet quitter, you're a loser. You're un-American.
It's obviously a problem for the boss, right? Because they want their employees to keep going above and beyond and doing more than they're paid for and all of that jazz. That treats it as though it's sort of a temper.
Real quick. What is his homie? Him. Motherfuckers like him are great examples of, and I'm not even gonna say anything too negative about him. It sounds like I'm leading up to saying something negative about him. I'm not gonna say anything negative about him. But motherfuckers like him fit the perfect mold for working class people to completely believe anything that comes out of his fucking mouth. And he knows it. Right? I can read that shit from a mile of fucking way. That man will say anything. We was hanging out here just chilling. That motherfucker, I can see it in him. That man will say anything. If he figures it'll make you get up and go to work, he'll say it. If he figures he can instill some type of fear in you because you think he's powerful, he'll say it. I can read that motherfucker from a mile away. I don't even know his name. I recognize his face. That man will say anything. And the thing is that working class people, they will believe it because he has the, I mean, you know, he's an older white dude in a suit that's just speaking direct. That's all you need. And motherfuckers will listen to you. You know what I mean? In the workforce, that's all you need. You are automatically granted access to fucking slave labor. If you just an older white dude, wear a suit and tie and just speak direct. You are like if it was a video game, if it was Cyberpunk, and you just walked around like that, you would automatically be granted 8 slaves to walk behind you, right? Here's the thing, he know it. He already know it. I'm not saying anything he don't already. I'm saying nothing he doesn't already know, right?
American.
It's obviously a problem for the boss, right? Because they want their employees to keep going above and beyond and doing more than they're paid for and all of that jazz.
Of
that treats it as though it's sort of a temporary situation.
Of course, okay, but no, okay, but I think what was okay. Let me play that back one more time.
Obviously a problem for the boss, right? Because they want their employees to keep going above and beyond and doing more than they're paid for and all of that jazz.
Yeah. Because like I said, okay. Because the corruption in this case is not the boss. The corruption is the employees. It's all, you got to look at it. You have to look at this from a buyer and seller's market, right? It's just like running. If you ever ran bitches in your life, it's the same shit. You got to look at this as a strictly buyer. But here's the thing: so many people end up in life with no other options, and they have to. And this they've led themselves to believe that they have to go out and work like this, right? And it's all their family's ever done. It's all their friends ever done. These people, it's hard for them to see it. But you had to look at it as a buyer-seller market. And I'm gonna explain in a minute. So, let's say you a boss, right, and you got some employees, right? In any corporate world, the workers are all going to compete for promotion. That's what they all want. Everybody's see, it's that greed is what fucks people up, right? They all gonna want that promotion. They all gonna want to get a bigger desk, a bigger office, a nicer chair, whatever, the recognition from the job, whatever, right? They're gonna want it. So how do you pick the one who's gonna do it? Well, we all know, hard work can equal getting attention. So getting positive attention. So at this point, the employees have led the boss with the only option being, okay, well, let's see who's just going to work harder for it. I don't know. Let's just be equal and fair about it, and let's see who's going to actually work harder for it. And that's going to set all the pores against each other, to cut each other's throats, to be fake, to slash each other's tires, get in fights and all that, to fight for it. It's not, here's the thing, it's not the boss, it's the employee. Because if the employees picked up on that shit and said, fuck this shit, I'm out. If all those employees got up and walked out of there, he wouldn't have anything left. Right? Really, and this is why I said a long time ago, the slaves are really running all this shit. But the thing is, just like my opinion on Europe, the reason why Europe is fucked up, but it's magically always hidden. But the reason why Europe is far more fucked up than North America is because Europe, like the pores in a workforce, they can't unite. So as long as you never unite, you're never going to be a superpower. If you can never unite, what use is it? Like let's use the Los Angeles Lakers. The year, okay, so for anybody who followed basketball, remember the year when they had Kobe, Gary Payton, Karl Malone, Horace Grant, Shaq, the Lakers had a bench lineup that was good enough to be a starting lineup in this year, and that was the only year they went to the finals in that time period. That was the only year they went to the finals and did not win the championship, even though they had an all-star. They literally had a fucking all-star team of people, right? Because this was the time period when all the older people were getting ready to retire who were all stars, but they didn't win championships like Gary Payton and Karl Malone, right? Yeah, and that was the year that they didn't win because they didn't have any team chemistry. Even though they had an all-star lineup, they couldn't unite. They didn't have chemistry and was able to unite properly, and that was the only year they lost. In that era of Kobe and Shaq, that was the only year they went in the finals and they lost that shit. And I'm pretty sure they lost it 4-2. I'm pretty sure they lost it 4-2. If I'm not mistaken, it was kind of a lopsided. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was a lopsided loss too. But the point I'm trying to make is unifying. The ability to unify is much stronger than having just random great motherfuckers with no unification, right? And this is what the workforce is. See, the workforce is nothing without its slaves. But the slaves are never going to unite because they're all competing for 25 more cents. They can't let go of that greed. And as long as they can't let go of the greed, they're going to keep fighting each other. They're going to try to buy nicer shoes to look nicer than the other one. Because Massa gave him a little extra money this week, so now he look a little nicer than Derek down the street who got Adidas on because now he got on Nikes or y'all living on the same street, and the neighbor 2 houses down got a new fucking Bentley, but he working at the same place you working at, and making the same amount of money you working at, but he got to look better than you because he wanted to look like Massa gave him a little more money. They're gonna keep competing, and then what's gonna happen? The slaves will never actually unite amongst those slaves. If they put their earning potential together and just open their own shit, they fuck around and take that shit over. But slaves ain't gonna do that because they set against each other. Any fucking entrepreneur, whatever that motherfucker, the white dude I covered earlier, he would tell you he would have no choice other than to agree. He would have no choice but to agree with me. Right? They're gonna keep competing. They're gonna keep doing it. So it's not. Here's the thing. Like I say all the time, it's not the boss. It's not the bosses are just dealing with. Maybe they got their money from slave money or whatever the fuck. Luckily, whatever the fuck. But in the reality of the dynamic of actually getting up and going to work type of shit, the problem isn't once you gain that deeper insight on what it is to be a leader and how to actually run motherfuckers and see shit from that eagle-eye view with employees. The problem is not really the boss. Now they might be, they might be a shitty boss. Don't get me wrong, but in reality, it's the employees because they're gonna keep fighting each other. And as long as you keep fighting them, as long as you keep them fighting each other, the boss is gonna stay in control. Because they focusing on each other.
That treats it as though it's sort of a temporary situation that can be solved by, I don't know, more carrot, more stick. And when working people are talking about it, they are thinking about it as just a way to make their life more livable. And that means it's a long-term strategy, right? It's like, I am going to do this job and no more.
Quiet quitting isn't going to get us anywhere. It's not unionizing. It's not negotiating with your boss for better working conditions. It's doing none of that. It's like the opposite of that. It's like, let me talk to my boss as little as possible. I don't come on the internet to say that, like, let's all just like rethink our jobs and that'll be the most successful thing we can do. It's like, no, ultimately, like, revolution. Like, I believe in revolution, not reform.
Revolution. yeah. No, that don't. In this context, that ain't gonna work. Because my first thought went back to that French Revolution when a similar shit happened to them. That ain't America. You really don't want that. Because like I said, man, like I said at the start of this video, motherfuckers think they want freedom, but a lot of motherfuckers don't deserve it, including the only motherfucker in this video who deserves freedom. Okay, correction, the old white dude who was talking, I think he deserves his freedom, and the white dude with the beard. Those are only two in this whole video who I think truly deserve their own freedom in life. The rest of them need to be slaves.
Actually defines all of these periods of massive change in attitudes towards the workplace, in relationships to and in the workplace, is who wins the fight.
One of these fights happened in the 80s between President Ronald Reagan and the Air Traffic Controllers Union.
Ronald Reagan crushes the Air Traffic Controllers Union and sends a big signal to American business that it is open season on unions. The air traffic controllers went on an illegal strike, thinking that they had the power to win it, and they were wrong, and they lost. The union density in this country is just nothing, and so much of that is because people...
I'm actually curious to look into that, because I bet there's a lot leaving out of that. I'm actually good, because what the fuck? If all them motherfuckers just left and disappeared, okay. If every air traffic controller, I'm gonna look into that. But if every air traffic controller decided to just go on strike and not work, something had to happen. Because how you gonna maneuver planes after that? Something had to happen. I think there's a lot. I've never looked into that, but I'm curious. I'm looking at it on here. Something had to happen. Because if them motherfuckers want to, that's a big deal.
Fought and lost.
But if you look around now, we're seeing union drives across industries. Public backing for unions is at a decade's high. Workers have more options in the job market and are exercising them. So is this just a small blip in worker power brought on by the pandemic? Or could it become the new normal in this country?
The question of how you sort of instantiate that power shift in a more permanent fashion is contracts, it's legal changes, right? It's rules that say, for instance, you have the right to work from home. Put that in law. Your boss cannot require you to answer emails when you are not in the office. Bosses will give in on a lot of things to avoid having the bigger shift in power. The boss can give you, briefly say, you have the right to work from home. Cool, yeah, whatever. We'll give you a $1,000 signing bonus if you come work here. But 5 months from now, they haven't given up anything permanent. They haven't changed anything to do with the actual relationship of power in that workplace.
What might the ideal relationship to work really look like?
The world where people have a better relationship to work is a world where working people have more of the power, where we have as much control over what we do as possible, where the people who make the thing have some...
Okay, you have more control over what you do as possible, then go out and have control over what you're doing then. right? That's really it. Okay, so at this point, what she's talking about pushing for at this point, which I don't have a problem with, like for me personally, like I don't have a problem with this, is everybody just essentially be part-time workers but get a full-time wage, right? But something got to be done. Okay, that's essentially where this is going to head to. Because, okay, the only other way... Okay. Because it's proven... I think where she's really trying to go with that's proven just 2 times now. That's not going to work. The only other option I see is to just... Is to, at any job, have, like, maybe more bosses per employee so they can focus on the employee, to treat them nice and kind and all that shit like that. Well, if you hire more and more bosses, that's going to mean a lot less, a lot less money, because you're going to have to pay them more to become bosses, right? And that whole theory of like, 20% of people make 80% of the money type of shit. That's going to be a hard shift, especially in North America, to do. Because if you were to do that, right? If you were to, okay, because motherfuckers want to be treated nice and all this goofy shit, right? So okay, the only way to do that in reality, because that boss has his own job in life too, so the boss doesn't have any time to focus on you, right? So what's gonna have to happen is in one theory you have to hire more bosses, you have to bring in more money, or the company's gonna be strapped of money to to pay employees. So there's going to be a money deficit in some form, right? And if we only do this in North America, what's going to start happening? CEOs who are used to making, the minimum at 6 figures a month are just going to leave. They're just going to go to other countries. They're just going to leave North America. Anybody of any value and has that amount of money or has those skills and experience, they're not going to work in North America anymore, right? But here's the thing. Let's say they all stay. Let's say everybody stays, they hire more bosses so everybody can be treated nicer. Well, that's going to add more to the ladder to actually move up in the company, because now it's going to be different levels of bosses and whatever the fuck. So are people really going to deal with that? With the what's the word I'm looking for? With the obstruction of promotion now, because you're just going to complicate it even more now by doing that. Or the other theory that I'm thinking of off the top of my head is just essentially leading the entire workforce to essentially working part-time and getting full-time wages so they can survive. Well, if you do that, historically speaking, what have people always done? What have typical slaves always done the second they were freed from that shit? They end up fucking up and had to run back to what they knew how to do. Right? Maybe not every single one, but majority, right? Whatever case, even from colonization to just direct slavery. If let's just use colonization. Every time, damn near, I just got into another country that had been colonized. I was studying about them, and I was studying about Nauru a couple days ago. But every time, 90% of cases when a country gets colonized and they become slaves for whatever reason, that country is always violently off after that, because they've lost that mentality to how to fend for themselves, right? So let's go back to the workforce. When that worker is all of a sudden set free, that worker has no idea who they are, what they really like to do, how to manage time, what they're gonna do, and they're gonna become drunks on this street. When COVID happened and everybody got to stay home and get money from the government, my girl, she brought it up earlier today. She said, hey, you remember when COVID happened and there was all those liquor bottles all on the street? Motherfuckers just sat at home and just drank all day because they didn't even know who they was to sit at home with their self, right? And this is what I try to tell you guys all the time. Sitting at home with yourself, retiring in any kind of way, is sitting at home with yourself 24/7 is a full-time job in itself. And that's probably one of the more difficult full-time jobs, because you got to just sit with your own thoughts day in and day out. And you have to make up your own plans and thoughts and reasonings, and without being influenced by anybody else, because it's just you, right? And see, these motherfuckers who claim they want all this freedom and shit, they don't understand that shit, dude. They don't because they think it's all going to be just relax on a beach with a fucking strawberry daiquiri. You're like, yeah, that shit's cool for fucking, maybe a day, maybe 2 days straight. After that, you're gonna start getting bored and restless. I gotta do something, but I don't know what to do because I've always done something for somebody else. I mean, and most motherfuckers don't end up drunk, fat, and stupid. Most people are not going to legitimately better themselves with that amount of freedom. That's why the 40-hour work week is essentially the sweet spot for full-time work. And for some reason, I think it's South Korea. For some reason, I think it's South Korea. They don't understand that. Like, they still think like the more work you do, the more outcome you get, which has been proven time and time again. Like, pretty much any more than 40 hours a week, the work quality starts to go down. So the 40-hour work week, as far as production, is literally like the sweet spot in production. But yeah. And then I think the social media social media also is driving this. I think I deserve more because somebody else has something I want, and I think I deserve it too because I'm me type of shit. I think social media is pushing a lot of this too. Let me look up this video real fast. Oh, thanks for the donation. I just seen on Cashapp. But thanks for, if you watching, man, thanks for the donation. I just seen it here. Where we at? Let me go. This is what we gonna do. And do the video. Here we are. Well, let's finish playing this out. But yeah. Oh, okay. What's up, Nicholas? Just popped in. What's up, Austin Murray? I'm not even gonna try to say it. Yo, AD, all the best for New Year's. Yo, thanks a lot. You too, man. Appreciate it. To be honest, I did sit on the bench for 6 weeks during COVID. Hey, yeah, if you could do it, yeah, go for it. Do it for sure. Yeah, just chill the fuck out for sure. Just sit back and watch which department is more productive and efficient, or separate workforces by gender. Any other identity does have its own category with identifiers. And I understand AD, and I understand why AD gets annoyed. They want companies to be nice to them in the aftermath of Me Too, so men can get false accusations. Come on, yeah. Big John at AustriaDick. I am of the opinion that wage slavery is a choice. There are far more slave workers than masters, bosses, CEOs. Who's at fault here? Well, yeah. Here's the thing. Yeah, and Big Johnson, I'll quickly elaborate on my thought, which I agree with you. But when it comes to slave, that slave shit, like anybody can be taken into being a slave for, any other reason. Like nobody's immune to poverty or just, being vulnerable in life. You just end up vulnerable for a minute. And, who knows, Russia can fucking come out here and I'd be a slave, and some shit, because Russia just decided to do some shit and I can't fight off Russia on my own. And that's just how that shit work out. You know what I mean? But in a general theory of life, in the normal times, like, the U.S. is like, let's say now, so many people are just raised under this conditioning of having to go work. And that's the only way they get money and all that. But I think nowadays things are kind of changing with social media and shit like that and the internet. But when I came up, it was really, you had to go to work. And that was it. There was no earning money any other kind of way. So in that belief in it was so much stronger, like a dog, getting a treat for ringing a bell, that belief in that bell was so strong into getting food that like you can't tell that dog that bell is worthless, because that bell is responsible for getting some food. And I think that's also what keeps the inclination of being a slave pumping. Quiet quitting works, but it fails. But it fails you. But it fails you if you need to build skills so you can apply for a better paid job. Word up, Let's go to this video. This dingbat reel.
I was having a conversation.
Okay, wait, where we at? Let me turn this up.
with a man who talked about a woman who had like a 90-day rule, and she had verbalized it. Big mistake.
Big mistake. I hate that.
Oh, I think I started this.
Because if I'm a man, I know you're going to fuck me after 90 days. So what's the...
Yeah, I started this a while back.
Wait, hold on, wait. The 13th man you've ever dated in your life, you're saying?
No, that I was currently
They were engaging with.
dating and engaging with at that time.
13 men at once?
Talking to, engaging, calling my phone. Yeah.
This is her being very honest because it's levels to it, right? It's like maybe some guys
Yeah. So she was talking. This woman said she was talking to 13. When I met my husband, he was the 13th guy she was talking to, right? And this is what I say all the time. Like, yeah, like as a woman, you can, she can just go on any dating website but her thing is out of those 13. Okay, now here's the other side that they don't talk about is out of 13 men, she's lucky if one of them will seriously try to stick around after he gets tired of her pussy. She will be lucky on that later end shit.
Because it's levels to it, right?
He always gives me great greeting. One moment, please. Hi, how are you? Nothing. I made it home. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great rest of your night.
You guys are wondering how getting out of the friend zone worked and how it's going. And it was a little awkward. I'm not gonna lie. The first couple of times he tried to kiss me, I was like, dodging, like, no, we're friends.
I don't even care. Honestly, I don't care.
Which is why
I just don't care. I just don't care to listen to a woman talk right now, honestly. Where we at with quiet quitting? But yeah, I mean, I do understand the thing of wanting to earn more money and all that shit like that. I do get that, but I think it's been perverted through social media and people kind of showing off what they got, what they do, and other people are watching it, and it just kind of keeps people in this never-ending cycle of anxiety and being, and just this. I think it really keeps people in this never-ending cycle of anxiety and depression, right? Anxious that they can get it, and they be depressed once they get it and figure out, oh, that's all it was. I need to go get something else again, and it just keeps people wound up in that fucking loop, and so I think. Here's the thing. I think there is positivity in it, but I think many of the people who are doing the quiet quitting aren't smart enough to truly realize why they're actually doing it. So the easiest scapegoat to go to is, I'm not appreciated. I think that's the easiest because let's be real, because if they were getting paid enough money, they wouldn't care about being appreciated. Once you're stuck in that cycle, especially at the white collar jobs, once you're stuck in that cycle of buying certain clothes and driving a certain car and that type of thing, a lot of times motherfuckers will put up with being treated like shit if they get paid a decent amount of money, right? Yeah, that's just the total amount of mental gymnastics that goes on in the workforce and money and competing and always trying to be seen as better, be seen as better, be heard as better, try to look better, try to sound better. It's always this never-ending fucking drive to always be fucking better. And it's like motherfuckers don't even realize it. I mean, they don't even see it. That's a real fucked up thing, man. That's really fucked up. But yeah. So real quick, I did want to talk about. I bought this book. It was a quick read. I'm pretty much done. I bought it like 2 days ago, I think, and I'm done with it now. It was talking about religion, and I did come and I just never gave this any thought. Right? I never gave this any thought. There was the author is a woman, by the way, which she didn't do too bad of a job. I'll give her that, because usually women are just awful when we're trying to directly speak about something. But she did come up with a good fact, even though I don't agree with her take on it. I agree with the man who did it. So, anybody remember that time where teaching evolution in school was a big deal? To teach children evolution, right? And I found, and the woman mentions the guy who talks about it, who was backing it. It's like Brian, something like that. He was backing to not teach evolution in school. And I tell you what, this time, you know, well, really before I read into his opinion on it, I would have been for teaching evolution in school immediately, right? Until I thought about the realities of how powerful knowledge is without people even realizing how powerful knowledge is and where it leads to, right? And when it comes to growing people, when it grows to breeding and growing and maintaining and governing people, right? And now I side with the guy who was not for teaching children evolution, because he had a great fucking point. At least the tidbits that I found on him and his statements on the fact, I agree with. So I grew to the realization of, to be against teaching children about evolution, you either have to be ignorant and stupid, or have an eagle-eye view on the whole reality of it, right? And I'll explain it. So, to be a child, to be ignorant, you know, be a bit more ignorant, to just say, oh, God just made all the humans, right? There's going to be a population that just wants to hold on to that because they don't want to let go of, you know, religious beliefs, whatever the fuck, which is cool. But you got to admit, it's still kind of, you know, it's still prohibiting actual thought, right? Just, you know, people just poofed and existed, right? And everybody's just a human of God, and that's just the end of it, right? Now, the other part where I actually agree with the guy, where I said on the other side, you got to be, I would say, I don't want to say very smart, but you got to have a deeper intuition on human nature, and I'm with him on this. So the reason why he was against teaching children evolution is because of the human nature of once you break off and start teaching people logic on the origins of humans, that's going to do nothing but be the beginning of the end of trying to create social unity, right? And I totally agree with him on that, because the reality of it is, if you start teaching children evolution, this is like, for the same reasons, similar reasons why they don't teach children in high school, you know, deeper facts about wars, like about how so many people died, how they died. They don't give, you know, high school students like the journals of a general that watched his, you know, people die and the thoughts that went through his head. They can't give that to kids because their brains aren't ready to handle that shit yet. I think evolution is the same way with humans in general. I honestly, I would take it a step further. I think I agree with him. I think humanity will develop that in humanity. Once you open humans' minds to any sense of competition or being superior, once you open a human's mind to that, that's it. You can never close that again. Perfect example, in the fashion industry. I think it was the 40s or 50s. Before these time periods, they never used to write names on clothing, not even on the tags, right? Wouldn't even have the name on the tag. Until one company fucked around and put their name on the tag. And women seen that name on the tag and immediately started going, you know, it started the separation and the fighting. You know, oh, well, she's wearing a tailor dress. You know, those people who wear tailor dresses. And that's how branding like really took off. To write on the clothes, like to write on a tag to show like where that piece of clothing. Once you introduce any sense of different, right? Any sense of human difference amongst each other type of thing, once you introduce people's brains, that you can never close it again. And that's why the fashion industry now is where it is, because of names, right? The name is everything. You hear a name and you think quality now, so you want to be seen as that quality of clothing, right? With evolution, it would inevitably end on the same track. Because once you teach a child evolution, it's going to be a matter of time before they're going to start saying, well, the bone was found in Africa, but stronger bones are found in Greece. So the Greeks are stronger than the Africans, and so that's, and then finding all this ridiculous. It would inevitably grow to that same ending. Well, where we are now. It would just, and his argument was it would just promote essentially like deeper forms of racism, and it was essentially just destroy any social unity that we do have if everybody just believed we were just equal and God just made us, right? So I totally agree with him. I agree with the dude. His last name was Brian. I can't remember his first name, but yeah. So like I said earlier, I think to advocate that you would have to either be a bit more ignorant or want to stay stupid, or you had to be smarter. On the intuition of just human nature and what humans do, right? But yeah, I really like studying about the fashion industry when I was into it. It was a really you learn a lot about humans through honestly through economics. Economics is a great teacher of human history. Like that's like the one of the great areas. If you ever want to study like what humans will do, study economics. And that's a good pointer. Now you may maybe not figure out all the intricacies, but the warrior was this. Do you think the same introduction of ideas and concepts are introduced to control the general populations? Once they're introduced, it's something that takes. Yeah, totally. The warrior. And you know what I'm thinking about? You remember the scene in Men in Black where Will Smith sits on the bench with Tommy Lee Jones? I don't know if maybe I'm showing my age, but in the first Men in Black, with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, where Tommy Lee Jones is trying to recruit Will Smith, and after they do all the testing, they leave and they go sit on the bench, and Tommy Lee Jones just talks to him. He says, this is what it is. There's aliens all around, but they just want to be normal humans. And he tells Will Smith, he goes, one person is smart, and one person is intelligent. One person can be understanding. One person can learn to become knowledgeable. If you might have to work with them a little bit, but you can talk to one person and they can be smart and knowledgeable. You can and calm and understanding. But people are panicky. People are loud, panicky, and stupid. And I totally agree with you, the warrior. Warrior, I totally agree. Populations can't handle shit. But the theory was when evolution was taught, it was kind of taught when the guy was trying to keep God in the schools and he was trying not to push evolution out. It came at a time period where too many people found out, and him trying not to do that was almost like taking away free speech. So that's always going to lose in a society like a democracy. That's always, once that's found out, that once it gets open that something could have been there and somebody hid it in a democracy, that is just over at that point. And then the arc of the understanding of Jesus and Christianity was it was going in these waves. It was going in waves of especially in the US, it had gone in waves of Jesus was an icon. Then they were trying to break him down to be more normal human. Then they tried to, and then it slowly drifted off into scientific reasonings. Like, motherfuckers was trying to say that, I found Jesus' scarf, so this proves he's real type of shit. So at this point, when it left off of that scientific ending, motherfuckers was more hungry for just like scientific facts. So you gotta remember, before, all these scientific facts were not a thing until I'd say like the 60s at earliest. Probably a little before. I'd say all the scientific evidence and facts of anything, this is all new shit. And another thing that I think many people don't really think about is, when it comes to legitimately studying history and shit, like legitimately looking at history, we are in a very crazy new revolution of understanding, right? Like, really think about this level, this revolutionary position of understanding that we're in, and we're the first ones to really go through it because we have the internet, we have video on call, we have it on our phone, we have it in our pockets. You know, we got history books, and we have and we have technology. We have technology that can go back and find out how old this fucking asshole is in the dirt. Nobody else, no other human throughout existence had this technology nor had the resources to fully look back at humanity and be able to put together shit beyond mythical stories. You see what I'm saying? So we are really in this brand new, I say pretty much since the late 1800s, we're in this we just been in this constant streak of just a brand new adventure, right, of existence, because now we legitimately have the tools and the resources, and we're the first ones to have this, right? We are literally that we know of. We're literally the first ones that we know of to have the ability to genuinely be able to become detectives in human history, right? Beyond mythical stories, or however the victors wrote the stories, or whatever diets were introduced. Like, for example, like the whole history of people eating pork, right? And how Bibles always want to say that, you know, pork, usually especially Christianity, they always look down at the pig because it was written in the Bible in the pig. Well, that's been debunked. The history of the pig is fucking wild, right? What I was able to gather from it, and I may cross an I and dot a T, but what I was able to get from it was it fucking Jerusalem and Islam? I can't remember the fucking countries. I'm terrible with names. But when they were writing the Bible, at this time, the pig was looked at as lesser, right? So the history of the pig, again, I might dot a T across an I, so excuse me. But so let's start from Africa, right? So in Africa, in the old days, they like because motherfuckers say like, oh, Africans didn't have wheels and shit like that. Well, the reason they didn't have wheels, one, it just wasn't even a necessity, and two, you need lubrication for a wheel because it's gonna keep spinning and burn, right? Maybe not burn, but, you know, fuck up. So there was no animals that had the fat. Well, pigs were the first pigs. In their initial understanding of how to raise them, were extremely valuable, right? Because they can grow within a year. They have a bunch of babies. You fatten them up and you can eat them, and then you use the fat lard for, you know, anything else. But you can eat majority of a pig, right? But then pigs slowly lost interest over time as other animals started to be founded and information spread. Because a pig, all you can essentially do is eat a pig, maybe use some of the fat, but you can't really wear its skin or anything like that. You can't really drink pig milk. You know, you can't really do anything else with it. So once other animals got to become introduced for other different reasons, well, the pig lost all of its value to almost turn into like H&M of clothing, right? Or like Walmart of clothing in the fashion world. Like it lost where it did have a position, it lost its position and value because it was almost looked at as a poor man's animal, right? And that was the theory behind the Bible writing that the pig is dirty and all that, because it was looked at as pointing the finger at the motherfuckers who still fucked with pigs as being dirty. And that's how it was debunked that's how it was debunked that that's how pigs got the bad rep in the Bible. Because in the country next to them, they found that there were copious amounts of pig bones in there. People were still eating pigs, but I'm horrible with names. But they were mad at the other country because they was on the, it's human competition. The other country, the historical data proved that they were eating tons of pigs in that area, while the other country wasn't touching them because they thought they were better than that. And that's why in the Bible it was debunked that that's what it is. It's a good chance. I'm gonna say that's what it is because I wasn't there, but it's a good chance because you could find the pig bones. Little shit like that is technology of how we can at least have some peek into the past, right? And it's fucking crazy. Like really think about our position as humanity right now. Like we are literally the first ones in this brand new adventure that no other humans that we know of in our civilization have ever had access to any of this shit. But by a long shot, right? A motherfucker from 100 years ago could not imagine the technology we got now. They cannot seriously imagine it. If you take a motherfucker from 100 years ago and walk these motherfuckers down the street now and show motherfuckers on their phone and shit, but they just couldn't survive. Now maybe from the 1700s to the 1800s, they could, you know, that they would have an understanding of what's going on, and just go, you know, back 100 years to 100 years to 100 years, they would, you know, they would grasp a lot of things far more quickly. But from a motherfucker from the year 1920 to fucking 2020, that leap is that's a huge fucking leap. So I mean, like, really, like, my thing is, like, really think about, like, really put thought into just how amazing it is that we're essentially the people with the first boats, and we're going out seeking, like, the motherfuckers. I don't know if anybody has ever looked at maps from, like, when motherfuckers first got boats and they would draw maps and how they thought the world looked because they didn't know anything else existed and then they was trying to draw maps out perfectly. So if you're ever interested in that, like, go Google, like, maps from like the 1600s and so you see how they, well, let's look it up right here, how they thought, let's say, I don't know, 1600s. Let's see, world map. Oh, I typed that wrong. World maps. Just trying to find a good one that's, like, pre-distorted. So shit like this maybe not, it maybe is the best example, but this is what they thought the world looked like, you know, because they just didn't know. But it gets a lot worse than this. It gets a lot smaller and a lot worse than that. I probably type in an older date, but it gets a lot more crazier than that because they just didn't know. They had no understanding, right? But you also want to know what else I think is crazy? Like, with my son, right? Like, I can think of the future, but, like, what's gonna be fucking crazy to me, dude, is to hear when he's old enough to talk and shit like that, because all he's gonna know is iPhones. He's not gonna remember a time before iPhones, right? So what I cannot wait, and it's gonna bring it's gonna bring tears in my eyes, dude, is to imagine what he sees the future like, right? Like, to imagine, because I mean, really think because he's gonna see the future in a different way. I mean, like, from everything that he knows, I say I'm gonna be open to learn from him, but, you know, maybe at the time I'd be you know embarrassed or something. But, like, imagine what the future is gonna be through his eyes. I mean, like, what can he imagine to do, and, you know, and all this shit like that. That's gonna be fucking crazy. I'm trying to find an older map. Maybe I should type in 1400s or something. Fuck is this? Because it's still showing, like, no, because these maps were like, maybe I gotta go older then, because I was looking up maps, they were, like, fucked up in shape, like, just not even close. I cannot find them. I don't remember how I found them last time. Oh, I don't know. I'd say no. What it's doing is, okay, I know what it's doing. It's looking up world maps from what we already know of from the 1400s. How do I look up? Yeah, see, it's something like this. I don't know if you guys can see that properly clearly, but the bottom, that's Africa, and to the left, they didn't really know America was even over there for real like that, so they just drew, like, one sliver and shit. And that was, like, I guess it's India, and I guess I don't know what this is supposed to be. I guess that's supposed to be India. I guess this is supposed to be India. No, I have no idea what this is supposed to be. I have no idea. But yeah, imagine what ancient people didn't even have common language to understand other nations. No wonder misunderstandings happen. Oh yeah. Why shouldn't people put themselves before their jobs? Why do you think people deserve to be slaves? I never disagree with you, but I don't understand you on this one. Black kid, okay, because the reason why I say some people deserve to be slaves is because maybe not in necessarily a negative light, but some people deserve it because they truly don't have the insight to truly think on an independent level, on the level that none of this was guaranteed for you and as an individual. Like this, the buildings, the shopping malls, none of this had to ever be here. Nope, none of these laws had to ever be here. None of these country lines had to ever be here. Nothing actually had to be here. And I think, in my opinion, I think that's the big divider in those who are in true awareness of the world and humanity, and others who are kind of dependent on humanity being there, right? On a deeper level, right? Because everybody's kind of dependent on humanity to be there. But I mean, depend on humanity to be there in the terms of depending on humanity to have exist and build shit, you know, because it's just supposed to be there and be built. Instead of putting thought like, okay, why is this here? Why did they choose to put this here? You know, applying extra thought into the reality and accepting that, okay, everything's not always going to be nice. You know, people aren't always going to be nice to you. There, you know, shit like that, right? The whole thing of like worrying about somebody's nice to you is kind of jumping over the entitlement of human development already just being here, right? So back to those people in that video. I would love for any of them to go move to like a shitty country or something like that. I mean, like a shitty area or country where people are oppressed, and walk up in there and start talking that shit of, oh, I think they don't care for me in here, blah blah. I think they should go in there and try that. Or if they're lucky enough, go and become bosses on an independent level on their own, and see how and see how much time they have for being nice after they figure out everything else. Hey, do you think? Oh yeah, I read that. Well, I would not call good quiet quit. Oh, I'm probably reading old shit. I don't know if the comments stopped working. I think the comments stopped working. It's like stopping and working in between. Let me make sure this stream's still even going. Because it's like the YouTube channel is like it's clearly behind. I'm gonna look it up and see if it's even still working. Or I'm just talking to myself right now. Oh yeah. So yeah, it just froze for some reason. But yeah, I don't know why it froze. But yeah, because okay, and to elaborate more on why people need it, I think some people definitely do deserve. Some people just genuinely want it, and other people don't really realize they want it, type of thing. I think that, yeah, those are two here. I think some people genuinely do want it, and other people don't even realize they want it. Because like I said earlier, some people, they need to be saved from themselves. They just can't operate on their own in any type of righteous way. They have to be controlled in some sense to act like they have any sense. Right? And if it's not controlled, then whatever they have in life is going to go to shit. Some people need that. Many people just never ever even grow out of it. They just never do. Yeah. I like this. I'm not gonna buy it though, but I like this. Like, I seen this in a mall here in Prague. What is this? I seen it. It's this wood cutout of a world map that you can put on the wall and glue it up there. It's a little too expensive. I think it's too expensive for what it is, but I did like it though. And you just glue it up on the wall. And they got different sizes, of course, like small, small, medium, large, but it's like big. But yeah. But yeah, oh man, LOL. That's why we have hoods. There are no neighbors. There's no neighbors in them. Got to control it. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Here's another fun fact. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find this area. We'll do a because I was telling her about the history of sculptures, right? And how you can pretty much tell like the time period of when they were made. So let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Nelonich. So I'll show you guys. I can go to street level. So this is a stop here in Prague. Should be, yeah, so should be, I should be able to look over. Fuck is this? Oh, okay, I gotta wait. Okay, yeah. Because I always just ride the tram up here, so like it's confusing to see it from this angle. Okay. Yeah. So so we're in Prague. I'm trying to get down this street, but it's not letting me. So I want to show you guys, because I was telling her, I was seeing if she ever noticed it, and I don't think she ever did. I can get down a little bit further. That'd be pretty fucking sweet. Because so right here, this is where I was waiting. So this is when I walk with the baby, I usually take them down here. Shit, I mean to click on that. I usually take them down here and wait on this tram stop right here, but I don't know why this is acting so fucking stupid right now. Okay, yeah. So let me see if I can zoom in enough, and hopefully y'all won't get in trouble on YouTube. So you see the breast on her, on that woman, on this sculpture. Shouldn't get taken down. Shouldn't get blocked or anything because it's like still kind of blurry. So you see this? You see that sculpture? Her breasts look like two fucking balls. The reason that is because the sculptures back, the people who made sculptures back then, the woman's body was always almost like this taboo thing in many cultures. So they couldn't get many women naked models at the time. So they would get male models and then just try to fake the woman's body. So that's why you can't really see it that well here. But the breast, it'll look like when you see it in person. Maybe I'll take a picture of it and post it so maybe on Subscribestar or something. But it looks like just two balls, like Mr. Garrison when he was a tranny. I remember that when he was a transsexual and he took off his shirt. He had his like balls on his chest. That's real shit. So like there's plenty of statues and sculptures in Europe where if it's a naked woman, the breasts are gonna look just awful. And that's why, because they didn't know how to make breasts properly and they didn't have a woman model at the time, so they just faked it and it looks awful. So they would try to hide it a lot of times. So a lot of times with sculptures, they'd rather just put the woman like in clothes to hide the breast, so you don't have to actually draw the breast. Like this, it's a lot of tricks in artwork if people aren't good at something. But yeah, this is where I go. This is mall right here. Oh fuck, quiet. But it's a really small mall though. It's really small. And I don't know if you guys have heard this one restaurant, not restaurant, but it's like it'll let me go. Why the fuck isn't it letting me go down the street? It's called Oh Dear Bakery. It's the best fucking pastries ever, man. It's kind of expensive though, but it's great. So I'm doing free advertisements for Oh Dear Bakery because they had the best fucking. It's like a donut biscuit thing, man. They make like the best. Oh, this is pretty crazy too, right? So you see on the bag it says "You're fucking awesome." I tell her like in America there would be no way you can get away with writing that on a bag. In Ohio, there would be no way you can get away with writing that like on the store and like on a bag type of shit. You had Channel 12 News out there in 5 minutes talking about kids was hurt, women are offended, and all type of shit. Trying to find a good picture. Oh man, they got the best fucking pastries, dude. But they're about $5 a piece, but they'll fill you up though. You ain't gonna eat a whole box of them. They'll fill you the fuck up. I want to learn how to make them. Best shit ever. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get on out of here. I'm gonna get out of here, man. So yeah, hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Like, I think my Streamlabs is froze as far as the comments go. Because I see the video still on my end, but I don't know. Maybe nobody's just commenting. Fuck it, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here. So I'll catch y'all later, man. Thanks for tuning in, liking, subscribing, donating anywhere. Appreciate it. I catch y'all on the flippy flip, man. Hope y'all have a good day. Peace out.